Okay, remember, every single chapter starts with a quote from Pushkin, and the job of the quote is to foreshadow. So here's our Pushkin quote. Goal, there can be none before me. Empty-hearted, idle-willed, life's monotony rolls o'er me, tired with longings unfulfilled. Pushkin. November 30th, 1919, Warsaw, Poland. Dear Tova, what should I do? I hold the worst news in my heart. Whatever shall I do? As soon as we finished our business at the bank in Warsaw, we followed directions to the steamship office. How rich we felt with all the money my brothers had sent us from America. How eager we were to start our journey across the ocean. Before they sell you a ticket, though, Tova, you must have an examination by a doctor. I think doctors are the cruelest men upon this earth. This doctor, who worked for the steamship company, took me and Mama into a room. He examined us for deformities and disease. He examined our bodies and our eyes. Take off your kerchiefs, he said. I will check your scalps. My head had been itching terribly for the past day. I gladly removed my kerchief and gave my head a good scratching. The doctor washed his hands after he examined me. Mrs. Nabrot, he told my mother, you have passed your examination. You may go now to buy your ticket. Come along, Rifka, Mama said, gathering her belongings. No, the doctor said. I am sorry. Your daughter cannot join you. Our company will not sell her passage to America. Mama said, You don't understand. She must go to America. She can't, the doctor answered. She has a scalp disease, ringworm. You see these sores on her scalp? I thought of the Polish girl on the train, the girl with the baby. She had sores on her scalp. Mama's dark eyes widened. Rifka, Rifka, she murmured. Her hands shook. How do we get rid of this ringworm? There is a treatment, the doctor said, but it takes many months. All of me went numb. Only my heart beat thickly in my chest. Okay, that sentence, all of me went numb. What kind of figurative language is that? It's an exaggeration, so it's a hyperbole. Before he showed us out of his room, the doctor wrote something on a piece of paper. He handed it to Mama and told her to give the paper to the man at the steamship office window. Papa tried bribing the steamship officials. It is a trick he learned in Berdichev from your father, a trick where money put in the right pocket can get you almost anything. Here, Papa said to the man at the steamship office, pushing our precious money into his hand. Please, take this to make my daughter Rifka a ticket. The man looked at Papa's money. He looked at the 5 of us standing before him. Wait here, he said. He went to the other room, the room where the doctor sat. He came back shortly. I'm sorry, he said, returning to his post at the window. It is not enough, Papa asked, reaching into his pockets. You need to have more? No more, the man said. What you ask is impossible. The child cannot go. Why can't I go? I demanded. The man paid no attention to me. He spoke to Mama and Papa. If the child arrives in America with this disease, the Americans will turn her around and send her right back to Poland. My company will have to pay the cost of her return. If my company has to do this for your daughter, the doctor and I will no longer have our jobs. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. Tova, I can't go to America. They will let Mama and Papa and Saul and Nathan go, but they won't let me. I cannot stay here in Warsaw without Mama and Papa. How can I live without Mama and Papa to care for me, to protect me? Yesterday, Mama gave me a handful of money and sent me outside to wait for her and Papa. You stay out of trouble, Mama said. We'll try our luck at this steamship company. Perhaps they will not mind about your ringworm. Outside, a bony old man with a nose like a parsnip sat with a basket at his feet full of round orange fruit. I stared at him and stared at him. Finally, I went over. Okay, so first of all, we have figurative language in here with a nose like a parsnip. So that is a simile. And then you should be making an inference of what this round orange fruit could possibly be. What is this? I asked in Polish, pointing to the fruit. From a distance, I had seen a similar fruit in Matzev at the market outside our inn. That fruit was small, more yellow than orange, with patches of green. These were perfect autumn-colored balls. Oranges, the man answered. He had no teeth in his mouth. How much for one? I asked, inhaling the bright smell of fruit wafting up from the basket. My stomach grumbled eagerly and my mouth grew wet. How much you have? He asked. When he spoke, bits of spittle stretched between his lips. He stared straight at me. I was not being clever then, Tova. I held out my handful of money. He took it all and handed me one orange. A few moments later, Mama came out and saw me biting through the bitter skin of the fruit. "Where did you get that?" she asked. "Where is the money I gave you, Rifka?" I took her to the old man, but the man cried, "There you are, thief! You steal my oranges! Help! Police! What monster are you to steal from an old man?" "I did not," I cried. "I paid you. You took all the money I had." "Liar!" the old man screamed. "Liar and thief!" His spittle flew through the air. A drop landed on the back of my hand. I rubbed and rubbed it against my coat, but I could not get the feel of it off me. Finally, Papa gave him more money to quiet him. I lost our food money, Tova. Mama yelled at me and Saul made a horrible face. I bit my lip to keep from crying. The taste of the orange still danced in my mouth. I will never eat another orange as long as I live. Mama said, "What will we do? We have to eat." "Hush," Papa said. "I will think of something." "It is not your fault, Rifka," Nathan whispered. He tried smiling, but his dimples barely showed. "Now we have no money for food, Tova. I think there is no hope that I will ever be clever. That tells you about Warsaw. How can Mama and Papa leave me in such a city? Warsaw is bigger than any city I have ever seen. The buildings are so tall I get dizzy looking up at them. There are carriages that move without horses to pull them. They are called cars, and they prowl the streets like frenzied wolves. Warsaw is a horrible place, Tova. I can never stay here. Pray for me, please. Rifka." So we have a metaphor when it says the cars prowl the streets. And then we have a simile, like frenzied wolves, okay? So we've got both kinds of figurative language in there. And then when she says, "I will never eat another orange as long as I live," what kind of figurative language would that be? That would definitely be a hyperbole, right? The other thing to think about is the fact that Rivka bit right through the skin of an orange. Now, how many of you would ever do that? You probably wouldn't, because you know that the skin of an orange is bitter, right? And there are certain fruits that we peel them before we eat them. But that tells you how unfamiliar she was with tropical fruits, because they just wouldn't have been able to be shipped to Russia. Chapter 7. As conquered by the last cold air, when winter whistles in the wind, alone upon a branch that's bare, a trembling leaf is left behind. Pushkin. And of course, that's foreshadowing, right? We do have some figurative language in here. When winter whistles in the wind. So that is an alliteration. And you think about this part, alone upon a branch that's bare, a trembling leaf is left behind. So who are they referring to using this quote? Rivka, because she is being left behind. December 1st, 1919, Warsaw, Poland. Dear Tova, Papa and Mama met with a lady from the Highest. That is the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society. They are a group of people who help Jews with troubles like ours. The lady said the Highest has workers all over the world. I wonder why we never met any in Berdichev or Matsev. Have you heard of them? The lady from the Highest gave us money to buy food. She sat with us in her room and listened to our troubles. She was no taller than I am. Wisps of silver hair kept escaping from a bun on the top of her head. That's great imagery right there. She said, "Mr. and Mrs. Nabrot, you and your 2 sons should leave for America as planned, but Rivka must stay until her ringworm heals." "To leave a child of 12, Papa said. How can we do such a thing?" "It is not so unusual," the Highest lady said. "We have handled many such cases. Awful things are happening to me, Tova. My hair is falling out, my long blonde hair. I have a bald patch over one ear and another on the back of my head. I can cover it with a kerchief, but it itches and itches. I know I must be ugly because Mama's eyes look away from me all the time now." "Can't Mama stay with me?" I asked. The lady from the Highest said, "If your Mama goes to America, she can work and make money for the family. She can make a home for your father and your brothers. If your Mama stays in Europe with you, she will cost the family money. Only you must stay, Rivka." "I will not stay in Warsaw," I told the lady from the Highest. "If my family leaves me in Warsaw, I will find a way back to my home in Berdichev." The lady from the Highest said, "I want you to leave Warsaw also, but not for Berdichev. The cure for your illness awaits you in Belgium." Mama said, "Belgium? What is Belgium? I have never heard of this place." "It is the best place for Rifka now," the highest lady said. "The people of Belgium open their arms and their homes to immigrants. That is what I am, Tova. That is what you are when you are wandering between two worlds. You are an immigrant." The highest lady said, "We can arrange for Rifka to stay with a family in Antwerp. She will go each day to the hospital and get treatment for her ringworm. When you are all better, Rifka, you can sail to America right from Antwerp and join your mama and papa and all your brothers." "I don't want to stay with a family I don't know," I said. I remembered the innkeeper's daughter in Matzef, the one who ate my herring. What if the family I stay with in Belgium is like hers? I do not want to be anywhere without my family. Even Saul would be better than no one, if they would just let Saul stay with me. Saul does not want to stay. All Saul cares about is getting to America. The highest lady said, "In Antwerp, there will be someone from my organization to look out for you, to monitor your care." I said, "If I can't go to America, please send me back to Berdichev." Papa said, "Rifka, the Russians are angry at our family in Berdichev. We have cheated them of 5 strong boys. The army wanted your brothers. They wanted Isaac and Asher and Reuben and Nathan and Saul. I could not let them have my sons." Nathan sat with his hands clasped in his lap. Saul stood with his back to me, staring out the little window of our room. "Rifka," Papa said, "you cannot go back to our home in Berdichev. We have no more home in Berdichev. You too would meet your death if you return now. Your coming back would put all the family remaining, Tova and Bubby Ruth and Aunt Anna, in greater danger. I don't want to put you in danger, Tova. I must go to Belgium. I see that, but I feel so frightened. What will become of me? Tova, I am like an orphan now. Shalom, Rifka."